A reciprocal is an inverted or flipped fraction. So a reciprocal is an inverted or flipped fraction. So let's look at the first example. So what's a reciprocal of 3/4? So if it's just inverted or flipped, right, if we look at 3/4, what happens is then what's on the top goes to the bottom, what's on the bottom goes to the top. So it's just 4/3. And that's our answer. Let's do another example. So example 2. Reciprocals multiply to get an answer of 1. So I'll show you after we find the reciprocal of the second example. So what's the reciprocal of 2/3? Right? Well, if we're flipping it, it's just 3/2. And that would be our reciprocal. And so what this is saying is to make sure that you're doing this right, if we go 2/3, which is the first fraction, right? If we took the reciprocal, right, and then we took the reciprocal of them, which is 3/2, if we go ahead and multiply, we should end up with, right, 6/6, which is just 1, right? Or we could do our trick where we cancel out before we even multiply, but as you can see that this is 1. So this kind of goes back to that. Now let's look at the next example. Example 3. What is a reciprocal of -9? Well, right, so if we have -9, really this is -9/1. Right, that's what we learned in the last video, where you can make a whole number into a fraction by putting it over 1. So the reciprocal of this then would be, we're going to put the top to the bottom, so that's 9, and then the bottom to the top, so that's 1. And we're going to keep the sign, so that's negative, right? Because we kept the positive sign in like the last 2 examples, so we're going to keep this sign, which is negative, so it's -1/9. Now let's do the next example. Example 4. What is the reciprocal of -1/7? Well, if we look at this, right, we're going to still keep our negative sign. We're going to put what's on the top to the bottom, so that's 1. And then bottom to the top is 7. So we have -7/1. We can go ahead and just say -7. And that would be our solution.